one thing I want to ask you is like what's the future now for Angel Orsini now? You got your degree. You're I guess you're gonna get focused a little bit more back away from school. So what's gonna go on for you in the wrestling business?
Well, what I'm going to do is leverage the knowledge that I have and my networking skills that I've been doing to put me in a position where I can get a platform for women again. Because everything that I see now is pretty much junk, except for the same shimmer and shine. You know, I think that's great. I think that's excellent, women's wrestling. But there's room for more. That's only one company. Nobody else is stepping up to the plate. There's
Right.
so much female talent out there that warrants having their own platform. That's what my next goal is, to open that door, to make that happen for them so that those girls can have a way to show the world what they can do and do it better than what anybody else is doing it. Because I'm a woman, so I'm going to promote women the way that I would want to be promoted.
Right.
So I happen to have a unique perspective on it. And I think that's what's going to make it better in the long run. And also because of my business school, I understand how to invest my money and manage a budget and do things within the system that will make it legitimate. So, and what I would like to do in the long future is actually innovate wrestling the way that ECW innovated wrestling. I want to pop the switch. I want to click Control Alt Delete and reboot up in here. That's what I want to do.
Do you think there will ever be another ECW?
Absolutely. Of course. That's what the legacy of it will be. Right now, there is someone in the world that has been affected by what ECW imprinted on them, and hopefully their creative genius will be ignited with that, and it'll give birth to a whole new level. I hope so, because wrestling needs it if it's going to continue. Otherwise, the way it is now, it's just going to peter out.
Yeah, I agree. Just the repetitiveness of wrestling now, there's no variety. I think that's what the problem is. You know, you got these rosters of like 50 to 60 superstars, but yet we look at the same 12 every Monday night.
Yeah. It's very predictable.
Yeah.
You know, when you're 9 years old and you can tell me the way that match is going to go, come on now. A 9-year-old just figured you out. Step your game up. But they won't. They'll be safe.
Now what
okay,
caused that, though? What caused that? Because back in the 80s, you know, you would see these WWE posters, like, of all the superstars. Every superstar was on the poster. And you would remember, whether it was Saturday morning or Sunday morning or that once every 3-month pay-per-view, you would see every one of those superstars.
You know, I can't tell you. What I can tell you is that that's what happens when you hire 24-year-olds that just graduated from college to be your writers. Because they would do anything to get that job, including, you know, make crap money for a junk job just because they're marking out for it so bad. And they're 24. What the heck do they know? They don't know anything. So of course you're not going to get a good product out of that. You need somebody that's been through some things to be able to put together a story, you know, but you know, they just keep selling it out. So that's what it is, and they keep singing while the fans, where else are they going to go? And they do have a point. Yeah. There's really only 2 places on TV to go watch, so, but that's what it is.
That's the main problem. It's kind of, and I say this all the time, and I hate repeating myself, but I can't beat this point anymore. The reason why wrestling was so great in the early 90s, the Attitude Era, the Monday Night Wars, all that time period, is that WWE was pushed. there was a bar set, and either if it was ECW or WCW or WWE, one of them had to go above the bar and raise it. And it was a competition back and forth of who can raise the bar, who can raise the bar.
Exactly.
Now, WWE sets the bar, they are the bar, and TNA is never, ever going to be able to live up to that level. So WWE says, here, take it or leave it. This is what we're putting out there. You don't have a choice, so deal with it.
Right. But see, this is where TNA made the mistake. Instead of investing on better production and expanding their roster with different talent so that they could be more diversified, they spent a ton of money on people that were overpaid and did less.
Right.
You know, you got to take into consideration productivity. I want a return on my investment, baby. Not only is money an investment, but when you're in the entertainment business and you're a TV show, then that means your investment is also the time that you give to somebody, one person. It's much better if you give that time and diversify it, because that's the same as money. And in the long run, they would have spent less money and had a better show and entertained the people more, and then they would have grew. But instead, they dump money in hiring somebody like Vince Russo, who never once beat Vince McMahon or Paul Heyman mentally in this business.
And he hates wrestling.
Psychology-wise. Are you kidding me? Not even close.
And he hates wrestling.
Not even close.
He's verbally been recorded on video saying that he hates wrestling. He hates the business. So, like,
whatever. Like, everybody has delusions of grandeur.
Like, why would
Some
you
people
even
have to take medication for it, and others just, whatever.
Why would you bring this guy in if he has no interest other than putting a paycheck in his pocket?
I don't know. I think it's desperation, maybe, And I think that it's never good to be desperate. It's never good to lose faith. No matter what you're doing, you have to believe in the path you've chosen for yourself, and you have to ride that out. You know what? Maybe that's why I'm a 13-time world champion, because I understand certain principles about, not ever being afraid and never giving up and never quitting. You got to dig down deep and figure it out. The answers are inside of you, but whoever's running the show at TNA, I guess maybe they don't really believe in their own self enough to run the show more themselves, and they depend maybe too much on other people who lead them down the wrong path, because those people, if they were that smart, they could be like Paul Heyman and start up their own company and, and make history. But
yeah, I mean, that now, the day and age of trying to start a wrestling business and having dreams of competing with WWE, it's a little hazier, I guess, because of the superpower WWE has become. But independent wrestling in general, people should understand to go out there and support, because
right, the good ones. I was out in California and I wrestled for 3 organizations out there, and they didn't forget. And they know what's up. You got Territory League out there. You got up in San Francisco, there's 2 companies, Gold Rush Wrestling and another wrestling company that's very, very good, and I can't think of their name right now. I'm sorry. And then there's also Vendetta Wrestling.
Right.
I think that might be it. But, well, at least in my experience. There might be other ones out there, and I haven't been exposed to it, but they really know what's going on. And you can tell, because when you go to those shows are packed. There's a bunch of people there.
Right. And
they're into the show. So those people, those bookers, they know what they're doing.
No, I agree. I agree with you there, and I've been a part of a lot of them within New Jersey, and they do a very good job down here, and they draw very well, and ECW is a name that's never forgotten. Every fan at an indie show knows ECW. They're loyal to ECW, and when former ECW wrestlers come back for an indie show, it always sells more tickets. There's always more buzz in the building. ECW is a wrestling business that'll never be forgotten. No one will ever lose the respect that ECW had and the wrestlers that competed. I'm actually traveling with Pitbull Gary Wolf at 3 different conventions. He's going to be traveling with us as at our tables. I had the pleasure of speaking with Big Vito last week. He was advertising a wrestling event that he's going to be out this coming weekend in Pompton Lakes, New Jersey. So they're still out there, and they're still drawing the fans, and the fans still love ECW. So,
Well, listen, I'm ready to go to a show and kick some girl's butt, but I don't want to beat up some little scrawny girl that's just somebody's groupie, you know?
Nope. All right, we'll make a mental note.
Somebody needs to make it interesting for me, otherwise I'm just going to stay home because
we'll have to make a note.
I live on the water.
If you want Angel
Jersey
Orsini,
Shore.
she's not to fight a groupie.
Yeah, no. Sorry.
It's okay.
I'd rather fight one of the guys.
Hey, you never know. I mean, it gets done. I mean, I've seen we have our past guest Melissa Coates. She's fought many of men in the ring. So, how can fans reach out to you? We were talking about social media. Where can fans reach out to you social media wise?
Okay, so social media wise, if you want to check out another interview I just did with Evan Ginsberg's show, it was legendstvnyc.com for New York City. And we just did a thing for Bobby Lombardi about what he contributed to local wrestling, indie wrestling in the area. And on Twitter, I am at the Angel Orsini, and on Facebook I am the Angel Orsini. So hit me up.
Right,
that's
awesome.
where I am.
And I appreciate you coming back on the show, and keep in touch with us. Let us know what's going on, and so we can repost it on our page, and and hopefully we bump into you somewhere in the state of New Jersey.
Excellent. I look forward to it, and I wish you all the very best with all your endeavors. Keep contributing to the business. The fans deserve it. They deserve the best we can give them. I love every fan. I thank you, everyone, for their support. I thank you for having me on your show. I thank you for what you're doing for wrestling. You guys rock. And God bless everybody.
Thank you, Angel, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
All right, thanks.
Take
You too, sweetie.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. That was Angel Orsini, ladies and gentlemen, former ECW original and currently independent and college graduate. So we would like to thank her for being on the show, and we're going to pretty much wrap up this episode. So this will become the end of episode 36B. And thank you, Angel Orsini. Thank you to our sponsors. Next week on the show, ladies and gentlemen, scheduled to be with us, another big independent female wrestler, Heather Lynn, should be joining us. And that's really it. Next week, Saturday in Pompton Lake, New Jersey, will be with Superstars of Wrestling. Find them on Facebook, Superstars of Wrestling, and Twitter. Buy tickets, folks. It's going to be a great show. Balls Mahoney, Big Vito, both ECW originals. Come on down, see former head shrinker Samu, and the rest of the Superstars of Wrestling cast and characters, including Kyle the Beast and Too Hot Steve Scott and others. And it's going to be a great show. So come on down, visit Damage 365 Radio's table. Come be a supporter of independent wrestling in the state of New Jersey. Ladies and gentlemen, help control the nitwit population and have your friends spayed or neutered. Have a great weekend, all.